reviewing the news, pop culture, video games, movies, and shoes. Quincy and Justin with a nerdy forecast. So stay a while and welcome to the Ugly Mugs Podcast.
Welcome to the Ugly Mugs Podcast. I'm your host, Justin.
And I'm your other host, Quincy.
Hoo-wee. Finally, we're cooling back down again. And, I want to make
sure.
sure...
I was 74 today.
It's 60 right now.
I was pissed. I was at work. I'm like, the fuck? It's supposed to be winter. Why is it 74 fucking degrees? Why did I turn the AC on in my car right now?
Yeah, I know. I leaned out of my room and just my entire, kitchen is so cold. And I was just like, wrap myself back up. I don't know. I guess letting things sit in darkness and cold, I guess, gets me a little around the rough edges. But yeah, it's going to warm up a little bit and then back down to cold when it gets that overcast. I think they also said a slight chance of rain and it's probably going to hit Summerlin, not us, but, some rain on Sunday.
Damn rich bastards.
I know, right? They get all the things. Got anything special to drink over there, Q?
I'm starting to get low on those Newman's Own, but that's why I've got still going on. I will probably be hitting Costco probably within the week to pick up more coffee. I might go with this again, though, because it's been really good and it's for a good cause. So
that is true. They support charities with every purchase, correct?
It's a bunch of stuff for children. 100% of all their proceeds are donated. Or 100% of all their profit, I should say, is donated to different children's charities. And that's with all of their products, not just their coffee.
Yeah, including their apparently really delicious salad dressing. But I'm not one for salads. I'm a fat guy. I like to eat fatty foods.
They've also got frozen things like pizzas and stuff like that.
Pizzas. I might have to give those a shot. As for me, I've got me a lot of water. I've been chugging down a bunch of water. I may slur a little bit today, but I'm gonna try and keep things on a track. But I'm also gonna enjoy at least a nice, delicious fresca.
Fish have sex in that, right?
Hey, it says purified.
Purified by fish.
Hello, chat. I'm gonna we have a lot to talk about today.
We're wrapping up the CES stuff today.
We're wrapping up the CES. I've got shows to talk about. I want to talk about Fallout a little bit, but I'm gonna save it for next week. I want to watch next week's episode first.
I haven't watched season 2 yet, so you need to warn me before we talk about that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna talk about it next week. So hopefully.
Yeah, I'll work on getting caught up because I'm about halfway through episode 1 of season 2.
Okay, you're at least making headway. But I'm also going to talk about some anime that I'm...
Considering when season 2 came out, I still wasn't done with season 1. I think I'm doing okay.
Fair enough. I mean, you're catching up, and that's what matters to me. However, I am watching a couple animes that I'm slowly really enjoying. I just hate the fact that some of the anime I'm watching, 2 weeks per episode. So we have to wait 2 weeks for that next one.
You heard about them officially ending season 1 of
One Piece?
One Piece?
Yeah. That whole entire 23 arcs that now finalize is season 1, and now it's going to be an actual seasonal starting in February?
And that's mostly just to give the employees more time.
What is that noise?
That was their big thing. What is what noise?
My phone. Why is my phone making... I'll bring it up to the thing. I don't know. Close. I'm closing out of everything. I think AI is starting to take over my phone. You sit over there. Anyways.
Skynet, but in the lame version.
I know, right? I'm going to very briefly talk about a couple Hubba bundles, starting with the Decked Out Collection, great on handheld. $12 for all 7 games, one of which is probably one of my all-time favorites that I should probably go back to, Ultra Kill. One that I was very greatly locked into the creation and generation of, Haste. One further down is probably the game I've spent most time on the toilet with, Vampire Survivors, and a good party game that playing with friends definitely would lead to some weird arguments. Nidhogg 2. There's a couple other games in here I don't know too much about. Backpack Hero is a fine one that you kind of take your time with. And it helps out the American Cancer Society. The American Cancer Society is committed to saving lives from cancer and reducing the threat of the disease, not just the United States, but globally as well. Oh, Babadoo. Second one up on the cut is Playful Platformers. $10 for all 9 of these items, including KO the Kangaroo, where you play as a kangaroo hopping around boxes and boxing. Further down, you got Move or Die, a 4-player party game where if you stop for a moment, you have a higher chance of just exploding from the random things that are bouncing around. Demon Turf, a nice little 3D platformer that you crawl through hell and you're trying to save your mother slash beat up the demon queen. I don't know. And then an odd one that looks like it was made on the Nintendo 64, Super Kiwi 64. I might, if I grab this one, I might play that one. This one helps out the TD Foundation. TD Foundation is a 100% volunteer organization that provides aid to children of wounded warriors and fallen heroes. We help American veterans' families in crisis. This one's a brand new one. And last but not least, one that I'm not going to scroll a lot of the way down, but I do have the notes over here. The Dynamite character crossover comics featuring Army of Darkness, Ash vs. the Monsters, as well as Army of Darkness vs. Reanimator, with some pretty good looking covers. Dracula vs. Blood Queen, Elvira in Monsterland, Elvira meets H.P. Lovecraft, and a little bit of Red Sonja crossovers as well. $18.
For those of you that might be worried about the Lovecraft stuff, just understand the people that are writing this know what kind of person Lovecraft was.
Yeah, he is not a hero.
We'll leave it at that, so that there's no spoilers.
That's fair. That's fair. $18 for all 57 of these objects. Some of these are collections, mind you, so it'll say volume 1 through 6. It is not included in that 57, so you have a lot to read through. And Dynamite has a lot of really good artists that do pretty dang good work. This helps out the CBLD, also known as the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. They are a nonprofit organization protecting the freedom to read comics. Our work protects readers, creators, librarians, retailers, publishers, and educators who face the threat of censorship. Go and visit their website to see what they're doing actively to basically keep our rights in check, as well as making sure we can read all these really amazing comic books. Animal Crossing New Horizon 3.0 update was released early. Has already had so many videos popped up on my feed. Like the last time I had this many videos pop up on my feed over a game that I play somewhat, I have received 12 videos in the last hour alone on my YouTube For You page.
Nerd.
I am a nerd, because the last time I had relatively 12 on my page over the course of an entire day was the last Path of Exile update, which was Druid. And I was like, okay, Druid plays fine. I like Druid. I like Path of Exile. Cool stuff. This is big. People really like Animal Crossing. It has a lot of quality of life changes. It adds more storage space for those who want to have a lot more items in their inventories, more unique customization options. If you are into the build crafting and you are having a hard time doing like placements of, let's say, these little tile pieces here, good news, in the new one, you can actually move tile by tile and place them down tile by tile, so that way you're not trying to realign yourself and have to figure that shit. I really like Animal Crossing. It's a free LC. You don't have to pay for this one unless you're on the Switch 2, and you kind of just have to buy the Switch 2 version of the upgrade game. which dropped same day. So if for those who have the Switch 2 upgrade, it's only $10 more to get Animal Crossing New Horizons Switch 2 version, which adds even more features. But I like Animal Crossing. I find it to be a nice little cozy game to just kind of fuck around on a Switch and just kind of lay in bed, screw around, listen to all your little villagers humming some nifty little song while I'm putting a giant Godzilla, not Godzilla. Look out, it's Godzilla. No, it's not. For all intents and purposes, it looks like Godzilla.
Copyright reasons.
For copyright reasons, it's not Godzilla. It's Godzilla. No, it's not. And then, that skip rolls on. But I put a giant robot in my area. I make it look like I would like. And the terraforming is a lot more cooler. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm happy to see that Animal Crossing is still getting an update, even 5 years after its initial launch. So I'm excited to see more. They also add a hotel, a seaside hotel that you can update with your own motifs as well, and bring in new guests as well as 4 new what do they call them, villagers, 2 of which need the amiibo of Tears of the Kingdom, 2 of which need the Splatoon 3 amiibo, all of which look fantastic. But I'm not going to spoil on who they are for those who are into the digging with the amiibos. But they also bring a whole bunch of cosmetics as well as furniture with their amiibo plugins. Badoop. I'm just going to briefly say AI in creative purposes does not need to be there. If you have artists, pay your artists. That is why they are there. Cygames, Cygames, creators of the Uma Musume, also known as the Pretty Derby horse racing game on the mobile, has come out and said, and I quote this from their note, "Furthermore, we won't implement generative AI into our products without prior notice." Now, you see the wording that they use there? They're saying without prior notice. That means they have already used a little bit I know for a fact, in Grand Blue Fantasy, in Zombieland Saga, and I believe they used placeholders very similar to how Expedition 33 did in Uma Musume Pretty Derby.
Like, AI is not even good. Why are you guys so obsessed with using it?
Like, if it was AI to help out with coding and getting things working proper, fine. As placeholders for art, it's a little frustrating, but placeholders, sure. Make sure you replace the final product. You could see how that would be, that's supposed to be like a bandstand, so that way you can replace those later with actual artworks. I get that. That's fine. Whatever. If it's like just a texture replacement with actual art, sure. But using it to actually paint your game, I cannot abide by. And I hope this company very quickly learns that we don't need AI in creative standpoints. Chat just says, "I wish AI would just explode." Now, hold on a minute. You say that, but there are. I know it's going to sound weird, but there are very few places where AI is positive, and I will explain that probably after shoe news.
Exploding.
You should pull collar. I'll explain that later too. But AI in creative purposes is not needed. We need humans to create shows that people like. Yeah, and Chad is also full caps. AI artists keep growing in numbers. I will also have something from San Diego Comic-Con on that as well. They are against that, but I'll explain what they said word
listen,
for word.
I'm not a great drawer, and I've been working on it off and on for years. And I have ideas that art is needed for those ideas. Mm-hmm. I have not gone, oh, hey, let me just use AI. I've sat there and gone, either I'm going to get better at this or I'm going to have to pay someone.
And that's what a head CEO of a gaming company would need to do. As of the 12th of the December, they dropped the 100% AI made game. That was 100% AI textures, 100% everything. The code broke twice, and on the 15th, it was pulled. However, I hold up a hand. Let me pull up the... Here we go. An indie dev says he'll delete his Steam game after his girlfriend convinces him that AI is bad. The game Lane, Laine, is basically a card game that
More
you're...
like lame.
Got him. He basically says, word for word, and I quote, "I have realized the AI is not actually free, and it has a major effect on the economy and environment." So his girlfriend turned him into a real bit and bob. So I'm glad that they're turning him on the right way. He is going to come down with his own original assets down the line. He is going to hire either an artist or a coder. I don't know which one he is, but he does say that he is going to build this game from the ground up, starting fresh. Which I was like, by all means, you now have a supporter. I'm now going to keep a listen. But if you happen to want to see how bad it is $2 on Steam. So if you want to have something to kind of be like, this is AI, this is evil, but I also want to support your new venture. Laine is the name of the game. It is pretty okay as far as card games are concerned, but I wouldn't go spending more than 10-15 minutes on it. It uses a lot of very strange bits and bobs. But you know who explained AI very terribly? The NVIDIA CEO. So, his exact verbiage confused people, but at the same time pissed people off because of the way he said it.
So we have questions.
Yeah, it was I'm sorry, can you repeat that again, but with less skepticism?
Repeat that, but slower.
Yeah, repeat that but slower and use smaller words. Because he used his disapproval of well-respected people saying negative things about AI in front of the government, characterizing their concerns about the technology as quote-unquote doomer narrative. Now, sure, adding an insult at the very
guy
end
that invested a lot of money and is just mad that it's not working out, so he's gonna throw a fit.
Well, it is and it isn't going to work because he realized very early on in 2023 that AI is probably going to kick off, so I need to build toward it. Now,
It's a bubble.
It's a bubble. It is a bubble, but some of the bubbles can kind of coexist. And the reason why I'm holding up... It's going to burst, but not all bubbles are going to burst. Now, hold on. I'm holding up a finger. Hold on.
Okay.
DLSS. I talked about it last week very briefly, and I got more information on how that DLSS works. DLSS 4 is going to be available on Nova, my computer that I have right by my side. It is running a 4060, and not a 4060 stronger variant, so the DLSS 4 is going to kind of pick and prod at its integral chips. It is AI because it is guessing the frames. Let's say I'm playing Cyberpunk right now. I can get about 45 frames, but I want it to be 45 frames. I don't mind it being 45 frames. I like how it looks at 45 frames. It has a nice, very well-pronounced depth to it. I even turned down the brightness a little bit because I like that grit on Cyberpunk. However, if I wanted to boost it up to 60, the AI can help out with filling in the frames. It'll keep it 45 frames like I like it, but I want a little bit of clarity. That's where DLSS 4 comes into play. It basically fills in the gaps of broken textures or jagged textures that need a little bit of smoothing. And with that smoothing, it basically learns, oh, okay, this is a guardrail, and begins to paint, and basically says, okay, this is how it's going to look when you look at it next. And it begins to fill a small cache, a very small cache, of things that it's learning from the game that you're playing. And it basically says, oh, I don't know what that is. It'll look like how it looks right now, but the closer you get to it, it'll fill in that gap. And it'll know what that gap is later on. That's where the
this
AI
just feels like
learning.
They're going to replace art with it.
Yes and no. This is where sure, it is replacing art with it, but it is art that is already there. It is CD Projekt Red's game through and through, but it is NVIDIA's technology that is helping it fully reach that strength that it is a beautiful game. They ran a couple on-site demos, but for Cyberpunk 2077. and a couple other games. But when they ran the side-by-side of Cyberpunk, Linus Tech Tips even was like, I can't tell this is frame generation. It's on low to medium graphics. And it's like he couldn't tell that it was frame generation. He couldn't tell what was taking over because it has something that is called adaptive. And the adaptive part is it'll turn it on and off when it feels like it needs to fill in the gaps just to make sure it doesn't drop frame rate. So that way, if you're doing a big stream or if you are having a lot in the background that's doing something and you're wanting to play a game at the same time, it'll say your CPU doesn't need to take that brunt. I'll take the brunt, says the GPU. So I understand the want for that. Now,
So
this is
I
where
have always been, and this is something we've talked about a lot. I
okay.
have always been the gamer that's like, y'all are far too obsessed with frame rates.
You are correct. That's why I don't care. Just as long as I can play the game stably, I don't care.
Like, I'm just speaking about gamers in general are far too fucking obsessed with frame rates. The amount of times where people have been like, this truly fucking good game is a piece of trash because it drops frame rates at this one point right here. I'm like, you have problems. You need a hug. It's not going to be from me, but you need a hug.
Yeah. The CEO of NVIDIA, basically, when he was speaking on them and making sure that, he wanted to basically say, we've done a lot of damage with a lot of people, but hold on. We are just wanting to help. We are not wanting to take over any industry. We're just wanting to help. So, chat says that AI is best when it's kept as an assistance tool, not the main asset. I concur. The chat also jokes, what do you mean I need my 120 frames that I can't even see? You'd be surprised. You would be surprised at the...
My eyes might not be able to see an 8K with 120 frames per second, but if I for a second think it might not be there, I will light this place on fire.
Yeah, and if it dips, I'm mad at my computer and nothing else.
No. If it dips, it's not my computer's fault. It's the game developer's fault.
True. But they basically were like... The best way I painted this... Jensen Huang... Good, very smart gentleman. He made the 1660.
Spend his money in AI.
Well, he said it's sadly the inevitability. People are going to buy my cards. It's not. And well, hold on. He said I have no say on what people do with my graphics cards, so I'm going to lean a little bit toward it, and that's where the DLSS 4, and then later on this year the DLSS 4.5. And this is where I say, and even chat was a little bit on the nose with this, and says they're going to AI their own art. Yes, to a very small bit. So games that have adaptability with NVIDIA, such as ray tracing, like Indiana Jones on PC.
Mm-hmm.
It obviously has ray tracing on console actively, but my 4060 is already going to have a real rough time doing any ray tracing on it. It'll run it probably 35, 40 frames with low ray tracing. However, if I want...
So wait. So is the new argument that the PC master race is mad that their PCs are no longer the master race, so they have to have AI to make up for what their PC can't handle?
Correct. Okay. So, yes and no with the AI being the cover-up. Because it is a handshake that the game developers are wanting the AI to guess the frames and learn from it and build this little tiny bit. Chat says, yo, this sounds evil. Yes, but at the same time, this is kind of going to be gaming for probably the next year and a half. And I hate to say it, but maybe a little bit longer, considering Doom the Dark Ages. id Tech is going to be not reliant on it for lower end PCs, but my 4060 cannot run Doom the Dark Age naturally. With the DLSS 4, it might be able to get a Stern 60. And
I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to go through and invest in a game that needs to be connected to an AI data center that's going to go through and kill an entire community by consuming all the water.
You are correct.
If someone confirms, yes, this game is going to be using AI to function, I'm just not going to buy it.
Yeah. So he also was also kind of nudged in the direction of a questionnaire that was, so how is this going to affect employment? They kind of bubbled around the idea of it's gonna do replacing of jobs. I have no say of that. I have not replaced any of my. I have no say of any of that. But you shouldn't replace people with this. So he has said,
they're going to.
Yeah, he said
they already are.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But he has said his piece on do not trust AI to replace people. As said, Jensen Huang, as I so eloquently put one foot into his mouth while taking one out of his mouth. He is very supportive of AI only as a helping tool. As said, NVIDIA does its handshakes to make sure games can run better on older PCs like Nova that are not as strong as a 5090 that just came out 3 months ago that can run everything without this new DLSS 4.5 or so on. So it's very valid. If you don't notice the illusion taking place, you don't even have the headspace to get mad. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. I also have a bit of a backlog as well. So
to anyone listening, I typed in the chat, I've got plenty of a backlog. I could just not buy anything for a while to ensure that I'm not investing in this.
That is fair. But
that backlog's a little scary.
Mine's 1,455 games, Quincy. I guarantee you at least 1,000 of them.
Hey man, I got a stack of comics I still need to read.
I also have a little bit of comics that I need to read. I even bought a Humble Bundle with a bunch of comics that I need to read. But that being said, AI, as chat put it, as I want to put it, but I don't know if I can fully back this, considering my computer now runs AI. Whether I like it or not, it still will run DLSS 4 for certain games.
It doesn't have to. There's options outside of it. I'm waiting for the day that SteamOS just comes available without me having to do some backdoor shit to put it on a computer, honestly. Because with the more Microsoft is fucking doubling and tripling down on forcing AI into everything, yes, I can go through and backload an older version of Microsoft OS, or I can go through and I can do different versions of Linux and whatnot. But I'm waiting for when SteamOS just finally comes out as something that's not just on Steam Deck, because I'm getting they are shoving the AI down your throat with Microsoft at this point.
That is true. Microsoft and other companies have started buying up a lot of NVIDIA graphics cards. AMD is like, our stuff does very light AI fixes. It's more for performance. They don't do texture mapping like NVIDIA does. They do more... hey, the CPU is starting to get a little bit with the physics. I can help out a little bit with the physics, but I can't really do too much because that's computing. That's not what I'm saying. Is
it gets physical.
It gets a little physical. Not a lot physical, but a little physical. Physical. And the chat basically said the right thing, because in you ordering at that drive-thru that uses AI, they say, I just order 14,000 water cups. Well, good news, in you ordering those 14,000 water cups, it even uses about 14,000 water cups to power that AI. And I hate that. That is the one thing I honestly have a problem with AI. If they could figure out how to go energy neutral, carbon neutral, or just have a very low footprint, I would like that. I would love that. I would actually lean a little bit toward it, because I'll explain later on why I want this, because there is some good AI portions in this world. Not for art. If it's for art, go fuck yourself, get hit by a car. I hope it runs over you twice. But there are good properties for AI, which I will explain later on. However, Games Workshop I'm very neutral to them as it is. I do like Warhammer as a series, but with all the Warhammer that kept trying to force feed into my brain, I've taken a bit of a step away from the Warhammer stuff.
Treason.
It's not treason, it's heresy, brother.
Heresy. There you go. I
Uh,
barely played Warhammer.
but Games Workshop has banned the use of AI in its content production and its design process, insisting that none of its senior managers are currently excited about the technology. Quote unquote, if none of the Warhammer in universe uses AI, why should we? And I like that. That's actually pretty good. That's pretty good for a quote from Games Workshop, because they use memories from old people that were once around, and like, sure, they do some weird bastardization, remove their skulls and put weird mechanics on it, but that's cool. That's rad, honestly. I This is the first thing that came out of Games Workshop where I was just like, damn, this weird evil corporation is somewhat right. I further down in the comments, it gets wild. If you go to their IGN post and just scroll down, you're gonna see some wild memes. But in short, AI is not gonna be used to build Warhammer, and I can only be very appreciative, and I will appreciate them at the very end of this podcast. I already talked about that.
Sound a little dirty.
Yeah, sure. Heading over to Marvel Rivals. I haven't talked about Marvel Rivals in a minute just because they've been releasing so much content that it's hard to keep up with. But I feel like I can talk about it now because, well, one of our favorite anti-heroes is joining the roster, Deadpool. And Marvel Cosmic Invaders has a couple skins between Spider-Man and Venom, looking all pixelated and kind of nice, all things considered. And they move at a very indifferent 12 frames per second. I actually really like the skin itself. It looks all grainy and pixelated and really cool. And he even does the emote from the Cosmic Invasion. And I'm like, I like how NetEase went from this money-grubbing, almost AI-using company to building probably one of the best 6v6 hero shooters out there. Because they're even doing fucking roadmaps that are a lot more detailed and beautiful than Blizzard. Aside from all...
It's not that difficult to be better than Blizzard, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
If only they, oh my god, if they made Diablo 2 and just kind of shoved it into Diablo 5 and just basically was like, here's a throwback styling of a game, I would be all for that. Oh my god. I miss you, Blizzard. Why'd you have to do that? But in short, their roadmap, very well detailed. The hero proficiency upgrade kind of makes things a little bit more easier to get into understanding how close you are to getting Lord on a character, because Deadpool is not DPS, he is not Vanguard, he is not a defender, and he is not a healer slash support. He's all three. And
he's pansexual.
Well, yeah, he is. And with that, his bullets do damage. You know, the little tickle thing. When he uses his ult as a support, he yells the old school esports meme, "What are you aiming at?" And I am applauding toward NetEase and how much love has been thrown into this game. How many Easter eggs, how many really good old school skins. The Eddie Brock and Venom looking skin that is in the new museum ticket battle pass is very well. It looks magnificent, marvelous, one would say. But enough glazing these guys. There is one and a half things I want to talk about. January 30th, they have something that caught my eye. It is called the Times Square The Clobbering Club. You see what I'm referencing here, Quincy?
Where is it at?
Dead middle, around middle.
I think there's. Well, hold on. I think there's a delay.
Oh,
okay, there we go. Yeah. I see it.
Okay, so the clobbering.
Yes.
Okay, the Clobbering Club. Now, when I looked at it, it immediately jarred a knee-jerk reaction that reminded me of wrestling and the Bullet Club. And I said,
I can see that.
are they going to do some wrestling stuff in Marvel Rivals? Am I going back to Marvel Rivals to have a wrestling crossover thing? I can't wait to hear more about it come January 30th. But I am very curious if they're going to have like a Wolfpack emote for the thing. That would be nice.
So here's my thing: isn't because you're saying chat says please don't go back to Marvel Rivals. You're saying that it's like the Bullet Club.
It looks
Are
just
they
like
at
it.
AEW, right?
No. So AEW, New Japan, and one of the members is in Stardom. So it is an open. Oh, I take that back. One of them is also in Impact. So they're all over the place.
Okay, because the only thing is AEW is uh TNT, which is Warner, which is DC.
And they've already had their cross. I think they had the crossover between AEW and DC characters. I remember they had a comic, but I can't remember who it was with. I'll go look into that later, but it's the fact of the matter that Clobbering Club looks very Bullet Club. The other thing I want to talk about is a couple days later on February 2nd, we have a snazzy looking Magneto that has that shit on. If I played Mag, I would definitely have that costume because that shit looks good. Other than that, January 30th, down at the very bottom, you could see a really interesting looking Spider-Man costume wearing like a discotheque shiny diamonds covered skin. When that comes out, I would like to know your take on it, or if you've seen that before.
Okay. Oh, while we're talking about Marvel, they recently just announced something that I can tell you right now I will never support, and I will continue to the day I die to fight.
Okay.
They've decided to rename Miles Morales. He will no longer be Spider-Man. He will be Spin.
He's Spider-Man, though.
He's Spider-Man, and to the day I die, he will be Spider-Man.
Yeah. Spin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, we're gonna. Marvel, stop trying to do new shit. Let NetEase run your shit. Holy fuck, they're doing really cool shit. Because this costume for Captain Pool looks really cool. And if they're gonna bring out Wolverine versus Deadpool as like a classic costume for Deadpool, that shit's already gonna fucking look 10 on 10. Just let them do your job. Because I also like their comic book run of Marvel Rivals Ignite. Like, god damn. Badoop. Last thing for the gaming side of things before we cross into the shoe news. Recollect 64 now has PC ports that you can play N64 games locally in 4K if your computer can handle it, and 120 frames per second. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Star Fox 64, Perfect Dark, and Mario Kart 64. However, they are working on probably my favorite of the N64 titles, Quest 64, and they're only promising 60 frames, but I'm cool with that considering the game ran at 24 on the original fucking console.
We all know the best game on 64 is GoldenEye, and I don't understand why anyone tries to pretend otherwise.
It was fun. The control scheme was weird, but it was fun. But
See, the difference is
I'm a huge
you didn't
nerd.
have a little brother to whoop in that game.
That is true. That is true. Plus, I like my Heroes of Might and Magic style of games over the 007 games. I only played a couple of those, but yeah, Quest 64 tops it out.
Most of the 007 games are, oof. I still have fun with them, but oof.
Oof.
GoldenEye truly was the the glorious unexpected thing. For me, my top games were GoldenEye, Mario Karts, Ocarina. I used to literally just ride around on an opponent for like an hour.
Right.
And then Turok was up there.
Oh, this guy's Twitch streaming Quest 64 in 4K at 144 frames.
There we go.
Quiet you. Thank you too, and I'm gonna. I will click over to your channel and thank you personally. But having us, let's mute it. Playing this game. Oh my gosh, this is bringing back just that immediate nostalgia. An old school one of the only JRPG style games on the N64. Oh man. I'm definitely gonna probably download this later on. Let me grab who you are. Pause that. Fuzziness on YouTube, and I assume also Twitch, because as I said, I can see the Twitch stuff over here. Go and check it out if you happen to want to at least glimpse at Quest 64 and see what I'm talking about on how very interesting this game was, especially for its time.
I don't remember this one.
It was not really released in the U.S. I played it once at Blockbuster Hollywood Video, one of those two, and
Gotcha.
I wound up keeping the copy, and I remember playing it just over and over and over and over.
Most
I
of my
got the copy.
N64 time was if I could rent it from Blockbuster.
Hell yeah. That being said, this is a rare game. This is very rare game. This is I believe out of box copy still works is $120, I think. So the fact that I can get this for free because it is no longer getting supports updates, and it is technically by all standard purposes abandonware, but bet. And it's gonna get PC support. Oh. Any other gaming things you got, Q, before we head over to the shoot?
I played a very small amount of Star Wars Outlaws, thanks to it coming to Game Pass, because I didn't want to give Ubisoft money. So far, it's got some texture issues, and combat is far too easy. But I have not ran into anything game breaking, but I just barely made it past the beginning of the game because I was going to cloud game it, and it told me it was a 35-minute wait, so I installed it instead and played some Fallout 3 while I waited for it to install. So, as of right now, if you're a Star Wars fan, you might want to give it a shot if it's free to you.
Not the fun game.
Outlaws, it does have some of that mechanic. There is some ship battle and stuff. I think I haven't gotten to that yet, but no, it's the one where you're playing someone kind of dealing with you're running through doing different jobs and trying to better your life, working jobs for the different crime syndicates. And it's one of those things like you have to kind of balance your relationship for them. You do your job for one, it drops for the other two, type of thing.
Now, can I do the Kessel Run in under 4 parsecs?
Probably not. You don't have the Millennium Falcon.
Damn. I can certainly try, though, right?
I mean, if you want, but it's 12 parsecs, by the way.
It's 12. Oh, okay.
But I mean, did you watched the movie? You saw what it took to do that under 12 parsecs.
I did. Solo was a weird movie. I liked it, but it was very.
I think it got too much hate. It was different, and I understood that it was different, but I don't understand the hate it got.
Donald Glover definitely stole the show, though, to me.
Yeah, it's Lando Calrissian.
Yeah. I guess it's time for shoe news. So Coca-Cola and Adidas has hinted that they were going to collab. Well, we have the first look of the shoe, and to me it feels like it's a bowling shoe. But luckily this is prototype, so the final can change. But what it is a red shoe wrapped up in the white Coca-Cola logos with the black Adidas stripes going down the sides. It doesn't feel very good shoe to me. What do you think, you?
I mean, I feel like Coca-Cola fans are gonna love it, but the red feels off.
It does,
I
doesn't
feel
it?
like they could have done better. The red really does feel off. There's something weird about it.
It's not as vibrant as Coca-Cola Red. Maybe it's the texture, the like denim style wrapping that it's in.
I don't know.
I don't either. But in short, these shoes are set to drop in June of this year. Hopefully, we get the final images before then, and if they look good, we'll keep you up to date with them. Next up on the list, Fast and the Furious. We talked about 2 shoes that dropped earlier this last year. Ooh, saying that out loud was weird. But 2 more dropped this year with a very hot pink and white one and a deep black one. I don't know what cars they're supposed to be, but they have Fast and the Furious written all over them. They have the same lamello ball all over it. It's fine looking, but very bright hot pink. As for the black one, it has this very rubbery texture all around it. And I think an animal hide.
The hot pink makes me think that maybe it's not from here. I feel like maybe it's the one of the car from Too Fast, Too Furious. What's her name? Steve
Maybe it
Aoki's
is.
sister.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, she drives it in I can't think of her name.
But I know exactly who you're talking
Yeah.
about. Maybe. And as for the black one, is it supposed to be what's the name's car? I forget the character. I know who I'm talking about, but the character's name. The one who drives the muscle car at the very end of Fast and Furious.
Toretto?
Toretto, thank you. I was gonna say Toreno, but that didn't sound right. But yeah, there's like
I guess I could see that.
But there are little 6 pistons here in the middle, like a big muscle
The
car.
weird green thing I don't get.
That I don't. What is that?
Chat family.
Family.
If it's meant to be the last Fast and Furious, I immediately know what pink car is meant to be. I mean, maybe I haven't watched like 2 or 3. I'm behind.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm also a little behind. They also hint at these blue ones, but I couldn't. It looks like the Skyline, and I don't think these are meant to be worn shoes because of how like shiny they are. And then
Those are very shiny.
And then last but not least, a shirt to go along with the Fast and the Furious fit. It is a double shirt, a long sleeve with a short sleeve outliner that has a spray painted on tire and Fast and the Furious up at the top. Or Fast and Furious, I'm sorry. It's not The Furious, I keep forgetting. Overall, not too bad of shoes. A la Suki's hot pink Honda S2000 from the second film. And then sleek patent like Dominic Toretto's 1970 Dodge Charger. Okay.
So I was right about the pink one.
And I was right about the muscle car. Okay. High five. There's also this bomber jacket was from the last set, so that's why I'm not really mentioning it, but it does look cool all the same. Has their fake brands all over it, like the nitrous one, the performance one, the garage, and the tuner one, all wrapped up on the Fast and Furious. Kind of a soft tan, and I kind of like it. Don't know if I'd buy it though. It does not have the price tag for any of those, but the shoes range from $125 to $130. And once again, not quite good on the price tag. But do. So, we talked about Adidas and Stan Smith having this exact meme on an exact shoe, but not a slipper. However, now we do. Adidas and
it's a slide. It's not a slipper.
Oh, yes. What's the difference between a slide and a slipper?
Fuzzy.
If it was covered in leaves, would you call it a slipper?
I'd call it a travesty.
Well, which would you call it?
I don't know. I feel like it's still a slide.
Okay. Fair enough then. But in short, the meme of Homer Simpson doing
the socks that slippers are meant for like PJs.
Fair enough. But these definitely do have the outside appeal. But it has the classic meme of Homer doing a very careful retreat into the bush while also having the bush texture. I put that lightly, all across the slide itself. It looks fine. I believe it is $80, $50. That's not too terrible for a pair of very well they are also insoled, so your feet are not on just a flat piece of plastic or hard grip. They are also in line with the Adidas wear style of insole. So keep that in mind. That $50 price tag, pretty well worth it for these. Unless you're not a fan of Simpsons, in which case don't talk to me.
I'm not a fan of slides.
That's also fair. You can be not a fan of slides and not buy them. But if you're a fan of slides and like The Simpsons, why wouldn't you? And last but not least, Crocs are on the list. Disney and Crocs, we talked about them once before. This Mickey one is nothing new, where it looks like Mickey's motif of black on the top with the red with the white button bottom. We've talked about these ones before. Well, I've talked about these ones before. Now have two new Disney ones, one of which featuring Goofy and his big old goofy grin up as the actual croc, what do they call it? The shape of the croc. I kind of like that. That's adorable. And some of the gibbets are his ears. And Minnie and her bow being fused on. It is not a gibbet, which is a bit of a bummer. I would prefer to...
Considering people wear these things outside, I don't understand why they can continue to put like flocked pieces on them. Like Goofy's ears.
Oh, yeah. They're meant to
step in one puddle.
I mean, yeah, you step in one puddle, you get a little bit of that grass residue on it, it ain't coming off. But for those who want to spend $70 for the Mickey and $50 for the Goofy or Minnie variants, by all means, I like Disney as much as the next person, but I don't know if I would purchase any of these ones. There's a full closed toe one that I think I would rather purchase if I wanted the Crocs, I put quotations here, comfort. And as chat says, those are some goofy looking Crocs. So, clap hands together. They keep using AI very roughly, and both Quincy and I are confused at what they mean.
This is the rest of the tech from CES, right?
Correct. And we're starting off with the PepsiCo and Digital Twin, or Siemens, SIEMENS, coming together to make a virtual world factory floor. And they had this machine run from the very start on the 10th. No. Hang on. The 6th. Yeah, the 6th. All the way to the 10th. And it did not break. It did not falter. It detected the anomalies that were thrown at it, so it knew what to do when the anomalies would arise. It gave consumers free bags of chips, which, hey, while you're there, have a nice little snack. It also greatly displayed a new type of program that helped this machine figure it out. So, remember when I told you that this is AI and you were like, is it AI? And I said, it kind of is, because it uses... Remember back when I talked about the NVIDIA CEO saying he's building technology that kind of adapts with AI? Well, it uses NVIDIA's Omniverse technology, which recreates machines, conveyors, workflows, and kind of throws it all into an easy-to-understand program that is both learning at what's on the conveyor belt as well as figuring out what to do if something goes wrong or shutting down the line if something does go wrong. So,
Okay, so here's my thing.
Yes.
Technically, most AI things are not AI, first of all, because it's not artificial intelligence, because it's not actually
learning.
An intelligence.
Right.
It's not learning in the stance that we make, that we think of when we think AI. It's not fucking... It can't pass the... What is it again?
Turing test.
ChatGPT can't pass Turing test. Echo Google,
Yeah.
iPhone,
Mhm.
all of those assistants who are now going quote AI and whatnot can't
And
pass that. This
and
thing
thank
can't pass that.
and thank you for using the product names instead of the AI's names.
I'm trying to
So
not trigger the devices because first of all, two of them are in this room.
yeah, one's in mine, but I appreciate it all the same. You are correct. You are 6,000% correct. However, that being said, it is supposed to be a workflow management program that can learn from how things can add productivity to the base. I kind of understand that it is a program that is given a set organization of instructions and it does those, but I also concur that the ideology that it can learn is very small. Like its brain is very small, but at the same time, it is learning.
Okay. So what is this thing learning, and what is it learning that it requires it to learn to replace whatever system it's replacing?
Boosting both productivity and how to better output a more concise product, I believe, was their two major points.
So this
Uh,
thing
let
is
me.
picking up a box and going, this, I don't know the weights. We'll
Well,
say we'll say a box of chips weighs 1.5 pounds. I have no
sure,
idea. I'm making up numbers.
sure,
This thing picks up and goes, this is 1.4. This one's wrong. Throws it onto a different conveyor belt.
sure,
Right.
right, yeah,
Okay. That's the general concept of this device, right?
right.
What is it learning
Ye-
every time it picks up a box?
I'm doing a shrug. I'm doing a very soft shrug.
You get what I'm saying?
I do. I
It's
do.
not learning anything.
You're right. However, the programmer themselves, the ones who are working with these robotic arms, the result is a unified real-time view of operations designed to integrate AI-driven capabilities over time, enabling faster innovation, smarter decisions, and scalable, future-ready manufacturing. Those are just
These
their
are just
words.
buzzwords.
They're just buzzwords.
They're buzzwords to sell it. That meant nothing.
But how are they
Because this thing isn't doing anything faster. Because all it's doing is weighing a box and saying this box is too light, too heavy, or just right.
So, funny thing about this, it's already going to be
It's
implemented
the
in.
fucking egg thing from Willy Wonka.
Yeah, kind of. It's a
She was
bad
a
egg.
bad egg.
She was a bad egg. But so
It is
this is
literally just weighing these boxes and then moving them if they aren't correct, which is something that already exists without buzzwords and without a robot arm that moves slower than a human being. You can literally build a conveyor belt with a weight, with a scale that will feel how heavy this box is, and if it's not right, very much like a train track, just
push it on.
flip, what's it called? The thing you use to change the train tracks. You know what I'm talking about. And push
Switchboard.
it down a different conveyor belt. And
Yeah.
yeah, a switchboard. It'll flip the switchboard, move the box down the other conveyor belt, flip it back. Next box comes through. That one's the right thing. It goes the right direction. And then people go through. Because a person's still going to have to open this fucking box up and find out why it's weighing wrong.
Right. The other thing is.
Oh shit, this one was weighing wrong because John's finger's in it. We found the finger, guys.
Yeah. The other little tiny tidbit is they already got the money for this, so adding in those buzzwords, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about
Because
either.
they're trying to sell it to Coke next. They're trying to sell it to insert other companies, so on and so forth. They're
Maybe.
buzzwords. This doesn't do anything that they just took something that already existed, put a robot arm on it, and plugged in AI and said, "There you go."
Yeah, but as far as indexing wavelengths and microchips and all that, someone did a breakdown of it and had like how the subsystems work and all that. Your guess is as good as me if I want to figure out what the hell all this says. But yeah, for anyone in chat, if you acknowledge engineering, by all means, by all fucking means, figure it out and have fun with it. However, they did say that do have they do have plans to integrate actual AI capabilities later on. So I don't know what they could possibly be adding. I just hope that
Yeah, and I'm not expecting you to give me the answer. I'm putting it out there
for them.
what AI capabilities? What does this have? What does AI have that could be introduced here that would make this function in a way factories aren't already functioning?
I don't know. Have no clue. Microchips, I prefer family size.
Microchips for the family size bag, personally. Good.
Now that being said, let me close out of that one too. That being said, AI can be used in robotics because as last week we saw a individual who was a paraplegic begin to walk again using the power of both AI helping them structure a walking pattern as well as robotics building up their so-ons.
And again, I feel like they could be done with a program, and it probably actually is just a program. They're just using AI as a buzzword.
Probably. However, so this is where I scratch my chin and go, how does it know there's something there without using a learning technology? So this one I'd be like a little bit of a
Okay.
hold on a second. Hold on a second. How would they know something's there if it doesn't identify, meaning it has to learn what's there? So I'm using the word AI robotics very loosely when very briefly you see it pulls up a piece of a bumper, I think, but it moves it over to another rack and then gives the crowd a wave. So it does have the acknowledgement that it picked up a bumper piece and placed it over into another rack, but how did it know that it was moving a bumper piece? How did it know it was moving a side piece? How did it know it was moving a spoiler? It still needs to learn what it's moving if it is indeed having that individuality to move specific pieces.
Okay. But here's the thing on this too.
Okay.
First of all, we've already got things that move things from one place to another.
You are correct.
Generally, it's people, but ignoring the people portion, because this is Honda that's doing this, right? Or Hyundai that's doing this.
Hyundai that's doing
this.
Let
me rethink the car I'm about to buy. If you look at how factories for cars have become, there's a lot of robotic arms already grabbing shit and moving shit and doing that decades before the word AI started being thrown.
You are correct.
But why does it have to be a humanoid robot grabbing shit off of one stack and moving it to another? You can literally just have a robotic arm doing that.
You are correct. The other thing is they want to integrate it into everyday lives by selling these commercially. I waited to tell you that part. They want people to
Before we
own
get to that, and you're saying, how does it know it's a bumper that it's moving? Why does it need to know it's a bumper that's moving? You tell it move everything that's on platform A to platform B.
Sure.
It doesn't need to learn to do that, and it probably doesn't learn to do that. And that's one of the things too is, oh well, these things learn. We put it in front of this thing and teach it that this is a bumper and that it has to take this bumper and move it over there. You know what you do that? You know how you did that before? You put it in the fucking code.
Yeah.
And the whole, these are going to be dialed out to, for personal use. I don't need it to. Why would I buy this? What is this going to do for me?
Apparently, it has a lifting capacity of 85 pounds, so it's good for moving heavy boxes for elderly folk. But otherwise, I can't think of another purpose. As for the dog units that look very reminiscent of the Boston Mechanics, they can hold up to, I think, 35 pounds and are meant for rescue missions, which I'm like, okay, that's kind of neat, Hyundai. Why didn't you start with that one? Otherwise, they have...
So it can lift heavy boxes for elderly people. How often are old people having to pick up 80-pound boxes? What are they ordering that they have to regularly pick up 80-pound boxes? First of all. But second of all, how fucking much is this thing? Old people can't even retire anymore, and we're going to try to sell them this fucking robot? How are they going to pay for this robot? They'd be better off just paying a fucking kid to pick up that 80-pound box that for some reason they have that needs to be moved multiple times.
Probably, yeah. You are correct. It's supposed to also do similarly to the cleaning bot. It's supposed to be a companion as well as it's supposed to be able to conversate, etc., by using the AI chip embedded in its brain to, have a common conversation with whoever it's speaking to, as well as
AIs are currently spouting out racist shit and trying to convince teenagers to kill themselves. We don't need an AI robot 80 talking to an old.
Yeah, then I feel we'll get the what is it, Detroit Become Human situation.
Skynet, Detroit, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
Three rules of robotics didn't work even when they were applied in the
iRobot.
in iRobot.
Yeah.
Um, and talking about the cleaning robots, I saw one of the ones at CES was was a Roomba essentially.
Hmm.
That can now walk up the stairs extremely slowly.
I mean, to be fair, I understand that it does it at that pace, and I'm like, at least it's doing the stairs. I I mean, I'm
It was
happy to.
just doing the middle, it's not doing the left and right. It can't get to the edges.
No, it was the one that I saw. What it does is it lifts up one leg and it turns its whole body onto the stair and then sweeps the whole stair, goes back down to the prior stair, and then raises itself up and then sweeps the whole other side. And I'm like, okay, it gets like I would say 90% of that
That's not the
stair.
one I saw. The one I saw had two legs and it was lifting itself up one step at a time very slowly. But I also have used Roombas or
Goes
T-Bots
tumbling down the
or
stairs.
whatnot. Um, yeah, probably. But like they can't get corners, they can't get close to the baseboards. They're very limited on how much they can do. So you're still gonna have to go behind them and clean after them. But also, those things are so fucking expensive that either A, you're a person that can afford one for upstairs, one for downstairs, and the stairs is the one spot you sweep regularly yourself. Or B, you're gonna buy one, let it clean the downstairs, then pick its bitch ass up and take it upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah. Mechanics are slowly getting awkward, but better, and I'll explain in a minute. Badoop. So, Piper, Piper, with a lowercase I, of course, because of the ingenuity. They are showcasing that these robots are just six-jointed, pivotal, very steady robots that are not necessarily going to replace surgeons, but help them out. They are going to be used as tool holders, not necessarily performing the surgeries, but you know how we have the fine the metal grafting ones that you basically control it like two joysticks, and you can suture up small veins in arteries and so on. They are wanting very similar to help out in that instance where you will still need the human control, and the only bit of the AI portion will basically learn what you're cutting into and basically be like, is this the best course of action? It'll guide, not necessarily tell or do on its own. So this AI is, as we've mentioned before, helping, not doing on its own. It'll mention, hey, this is the carotid artery. We need to be careful around this area here. And it'll paint on, thank you. It'll paint that area and basically be like, avoid this area at all costs and try and lean toward this. So they are aiming for this to also be among a helpful tool, not a
If you're
solution.
a surgeon that needs an AI to tell you where not to cut, you shouldn't be a surgeon.
I concur, but at the same time,
Just putting that out there.
You are correct, but then at the same time, we live in a world where malpractice suits are literally a dime a dozen, and having that little bit of extra, hey, the robot did mention, and it even recorded the incident, so that way you now have a actual suit on your hands. So in an idea where this thing is recording the surgery and making sure that everything went as right as could be, I'm all for it. I'm here for the helpful tool to help it register that. However, they were also trying to promote this as a helpful AI self-cleaning lawnmower. This is how they're starting off their commercial usage for these types of little tiny robots with these very fun dancing arms. They want to commercialize a lawnmower first before they start leaning towards surgery. So if they can precisely cut your lawn, I'm excited to see them
This is like a backwards of chainsaws. You know, those were made as medical devices for childbirth before they became for cutting down trees.
I mean, as we mentioned before, Skynet could possibly still be a thing with these. Still unsure on how it's going to quote unquote learn, but it is learning your lawn and trimming around it and figuring out that stuff, but it is still, at the end of the day, programming. Badoop. However, and I'm raising up a finger, this uses AI in a very interesting way. So, a swimming turtle robot called RoboTurtle, good name, as a ecological research and environmental monitoring, as well as a helpful swimming guide. It was just a mock-up last year. I did see about this, and I'm glad that this year at CES they had a little pool, and it swam at a pretty good 3 miles an hour in the water. It can monitor underwater environments without disturbing the other creatures. It even has almost one-for-one turtle movements. So, as far as it learning and trying to adapt to stay away from the big old fuck-off shark, sure, fine. I guess it can learn and stay away from that big old fuck-off shark, but that's still, at the end of the day, from what you have convinced me of, it still sounds like programming. But I am glad to see that the project of last...
Well, and I'm not even seeing AI mentioned in this.
No, it fucking talks about it later on in the fucking bet feed, but it is using it is using a little bit of learning capabilities to know where it's going to be swimming to, what information it's going to be gathering, when it needs to turn on its recording processes, etc. It does use a little bit of monitoring programming, but so far it's still in its prototype phase. We should be learning more about turtles by I believe they said December. I did not write that down, but later on this year, I do remember that.
Let's see. This pool cleaning company made a robot turtle to track water quality. Beatbot makes robotic pool cleaners.
That one's not it. This one's for the.
It's the same photo.
Is it?
Yeah. Although this is the 2025 article, so this is how it started out.
Yeah, I didn't know.
A solar-powered robot that can navigate bodies of water while monitoring their on sensors. Yeah, so it's just.
Oh, you're right. It is Beatbot. Huh.
Yeah, it's not AI. It's this is fine. I mean, I like what the chat said though. We were worried about straws and turtles. Now here's one made out of them. Can you imagine what's going to happen if this thing?
Yeah. If it does break down and it causes that
I mean,
issue.
you could program this thing. Hey, avoid sharks. But I mean, sharks are sharks. They're going to find it.
Yeah. So I like boxing as much as the next person. The movie Real Steel with Hugh Jackman. Good stuff. Good stuff. I don't know if I'm wanting to live that future, though, having boxing robots. And I like how our new age of robots, remember how we were saying how they were having a hard time maneuvering around? These are the ones that were dancing on the balcony of the Palazzo. They do fine stancing, combat tactic rolls, good, very quick punches. They even do a little bit of capoeira dancing, as well as if they don't clash into one another, they could do a pretty okay samba, from what onlookers were saying. But otherwise, this looks pretty dang good as far as a both dancing and boxing robot for the future. I worry about the future of robotics, but at the same time, I'm happy to see more from it if it continues to move like this. That being said, we're now going to be...
So wait, what's the point of this, though?
They're just doing robotics to do robotics. They just want to build robots. I don't know if it's going to be commercial. Okay. I have no clue about its properties or capabilities. Gotcha. I think it's going to be entertainment, but hard to tell. I mean, if the boxing robots were to actually box one another, I'd pay to see that. It's what is it? Scrapboard? No, it's Real Steel. But what's the fucking?
You know how many times I've fallen asleep watching that movie and never actually finished it?
Really? Oh.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I don't know why. I have fallen asleep trying to watch that movie so many fucking times.
Right. So the Boston Mechanics style of dog is being replicated by a lot of Outworld companies, whether China or Italy, I believe, was the other one that kind of had one that looked similar to it. But this one has touch sensors. It acts like a cat, and it meows and purrs like an actual cat. With a 5.8-inch LCD screen on the front to show you its likes, dislikes. You're supposed to take it out for walks so that way you can get your exercise out. It runs off of an 80-watt charger. It charges up in 20 minutes and it lasts 4.5 hours on a full charge. You can leave it in the charger. You can call it by its name and it'll come off of the charger. I could see this being good for companionship as far as, but don't give this to a kid. This thing looks like it would run the kid over.
I'm just putting it out there. I mean, there's plenty of animals that need adoption.
That is true.
I know that people have allergies. I know
Yeah,
disabilities,
it's
so on and so forth, and I get that.
Yeah, it's very tough, but it also learns your name, so that way if someone's calling out to you, it can also look in the direction just in case you're hard of hearing. I believe it also has I believe this is the one that also has the feature of sprint mode, so it can go a little bit quicker if in case you're wanting to get some jog time in. So it does have all of the features of an active lifestyle with, of course, none of the allergies for those who suffer from cat/dog allergies. But I also want to kind of know the price tag. For the two companies that I've looked at, there's one that's saying $1,800 for the base model that is just, it gets up and works. And there's
People are struggling to pay their rent, and you want people to buy an $1,800 robot dog they can't cover.
Yeah. Going over to the cool side of CES 2026, they had the demo of it last year where it was very slow to append and change its colors, but this year the color changing sunglasses have made an appearance and even have a price tag that's kind of fair for color changing glasses. So the tech specs of this is take your iPhone, if you have an iPhone, take a Samsung Galaxy phone. That glass that is covering the front is what is on these glasses. The embed between the two is very similar to how e-ink works, but with a little bit of translucency to it. And tapping the glasses on the side twice changes between the 12 different colors that they have. And without the prescription lenses that are embedded into them, they just start off at the base model for $129, and they run for 48 hours on a single charge. It doesn't say how long it takes to charge them, but seeing as it's e-ink, something tells me it's only like an hour.
I mean, this is fine. This is cool. My thing on it is twofold. One, you know how many pairs of sunglasses I have broken in my life?
That is fair.
I can't spend this kind of money on sunglasses.
But I mean, I love how they just back then it was like you double tap it and you wait and you wait and you wait and 5 seconds later it would finally change. Now she double taps it, it immediately changes. I'm loving how quick it's slowly starting to get to change these colors. Plus they're pretty good looking colors, like a nice amber color, a nice red, like a nice fire red, a really good dark red, and then a deep blue, a deep purple. And then a soft.
I want someone to figure out.
Go for it.
Because you're talking about the battery life on these. I want someone to put in, very much like we have regenerative brakes on hybrids and electric cars.
Okay.
If I'm wearing these and I'm walking around, it's motion, bouncing, right?
Okay. That
I
was
understand that it can't fully charge it, but can't we set up some way that this is going to extend that charge?
So maybe a small bit of solar paneling, maybe?
No, because that's feeling off of the sun. I'm talking about the inertia that I'm creating.
Oh, I don't know, because it would need something to shock, because at CES 2025 and at CES 2026 they had a small drawbridge of these step panels that they're going to introduce.
I've seen the step panels.
Yeah, we talked about them last year. That are going to be
for the strip, and I think it would work great
for the strip. Yes, and it's going to be in Shibuya in August, I think. It's going to be later on this
There
year,
are
though.
problems with them because the way that they work, they're not good if it's an area that's going to be having running. They're not good if there's any kind of incline. And so far, I haven't really seen anyone come up with a good way to make them work for people with disabilities.
Correct. I concur. I believe it is going to be in a one of the big strip malls. I forget which one it is, but it is going to help power that strip mall. It is like a multi-tiered building that is going to have its floors kind of raised up the 4.5 inches per of the set panels. So it's going to raise up everything. But I'm unsure of the full details of, number one, how big it's going to take up, and if it's going to be outside, and whether or not it is, as you mentioned, on an incline. Yeah, I did not see that far in advance, but it needs some sort of impacting that will allow it to like charge like one of those shake weights. As you're shaking it, it does create that kinetic energy, that wood battery. I don't know how we could get that. However, you did say something interesting that I did notice. Actually, I'll be talking about it very soon. Yeah, I'll wait till I talk about it, about the battery thing. Very quickly, Creality. Thank you.
Creality.
The 3D printer company had a couple models for display. I'm loving how you can get a 12-inch, full-size, fully articulated action figure for under an hour. Uses up a little bit of filament, but you get it in under an hour. It's got smooth edges. It doesn't have that weird rippling like 3D models get. And I'm like, okay, that's good. That's great. The price tag, however, $4,200 for the Creality 3DP Pro or 3D Pro. I like it. I wouldn't mind it. It would be good for those who have like a 3D printing business or anything of that sort, who, build like little 3D models that they put together, that they, CAD model together and work it out. That's great. I'm proud of you. But I personally would not get this unless I had like some sort of lucrative business that used this. This is definitely not for hobbyists. But
No, this would definitely be for people that are running some kind of business.
Yeah. How good are its capabilities, you ask? It also did a 14-inch tall Godzilla model that was in 2 different parts, and it glued together seamlessly. It was pretty good, pretty big too. Actually, I think it was in 3 parts because I believe the tail was also in its other thing. The print took, I want to say, 7.5 hours, and the consumer that brought it in said he wanted to test this thing out personally for his own business. So it was good to check out the capabilities of it while also being a consumer. That is what it's supposed to be. It's consumer electronics. So keep $4,200 for a 3D printer if that's your business. By all means, it does a good Godzilla model. It does minis, as you can see down here. They look fine.
What is this using to make it again? Is this resin or is this PLA?
I think it's PLA with a little bit of resin to help bind. I also believe that they're also using a little bit of resin to help create weight.
Yeah, it looks like PLA.
Yeah, PLA on this one here. Hang on, let me go back over to the other side, because I see this one has it, and then he's seeing that it's being fed per line, and then of course they change the lines. It can change automatically and so on, but I'm pretty sure this one here can do both, I believe. I mean, for $4,200, it better be able to do both. It has a way to bring in all 4 lines at the same time. So I'm also curious if it can do 4 prints at the same time.
So, like, what are we gonna get hoverboards, man?
Sooner than you think. Last year they did that in the little waterway outside the palazzo. They actually had a jetpack. And they had it as like a little water
jetpacks.
They've had it as a waterboard. He fell off of it, sure, but the fact of the matter was he was on a slight hoverboard. The only downside is I don't know if we're ever gonna get like hoverboard like Back to the Future Part 2, but soon, hopefully. Badoop. Okay, now it's time to talk about the new batteries, because the Honda Zero Saloon electric car uses the, we talked about it, I think, last year, the BMW's e-ink to allow it to change color on the fly. It has a lot of integral electronic components. The I don't know about that rim choice, though. It is very crunchy. I worry if I were to, like, bump into somebody unintentionally. Like, don't get me wrong, I have no plans on bumping into anybody, but those tires look like they could just shred somebody. I like the design of the car, especially for a new age Honda that is all electric. But the batteries. Now you might be saying, well, it's probably just like a Tesla. No, it uses something now called a solid state battery. Something that
Wait, I thought that was a different company that announced that, not Honda.
You are correct. Another company did announce they were using it. Honda is using it for vehicles.
No, it was a motorcycle company at CES.
Oh, you are correct. You are very correct. It was the
Donut.
You are correct. They also have those. But I guess
Donut announced solid state batteries.
Okay, so Honda's got this one as well, because they are saying a half-hour charge time will last you over 88 miles. I don't know if that's a reference to the Back to the Future, but a half-hour charge will get you 88 miles is not too terrible. A full charge, however, is 4.5 hours. So 88 times 4.5. I'm going to pull up a calculator. Give me one sec.
Excuse me, sorry.
8 times, so that's 9. 792. That feels way high. That feels very high.
So the Donut Lab one is talking. First of all, this is like a huge advancement. Like, solid state batteries is massive, because this would get rid of the fluid liquid thing that is which is the reason why lithium is so dangerous.
You are correct.
So the Donut one is claiming like extremely fast charging, like faster than I think what they're saying for the Honda one, but it is a motorcycle instead of a car, so there's that. But they're talking that you could recharge it for a full 100,000 cycles before you'd have to replace it.
Okay. So these solid state batteries, because I think I'm confusing chat a little bit. They're saying likely losing mileage due to heat and other factors. Well, maybe. But the whole thing about the new solid state batteries is it holds the energy within its little tiny. It almost looks like a whole bunch of 9-volt batteries strapped to a motherboard. It looks very weird, but from what I can tell, this one has probably a little bit bigger ones. I don't know the exact mechanics on the inside, because Honda's very hush hush about their mechanics, but they really want these to be the new electric cars. But they are basically saying that this is going to be their whole entire line. They are wanting to move away from fossil fuels, which I'm like, hooray! But I don't know if I feel comfortable about something that I'm not 100% sure I'm getting the full benefit out of, especially if they're blowing up numbers to where a full charge, if I leave it on overnight, plug it in overnight, I can get 800 miles now. Like,
so Donut is saying 5 minutes to get 400 WH/kg.
Okay, I guess that might be true then. I guess these solid state batteries are huge capacity.
If they crack the code on it.
Huh. Okay.
So Donut is set in Finland, I do believe.
Oh, we like our Finnish.
Is it Finland? No, wait. Yeah, I think they're from Finland. I want to say it's one of the Nordic countries. Yeah, if I rode a motorcycle, I would consider the Donut Lab motorcycle from what I saw.
Battery. Oh, I actually like how that looks. And you can pull it out. Wait, and you could just pull it out at any time? That's fucking huge. You could just plop that up on your fucking... Okay. Hell, that's your fucking key. If you can pop it out, you just pull that some bitch out, put it in your back pocket.
I just watched a not watched. I read a post on Reddit earlier for the Vegas subreddit. Someone found their car after it had been stolen, and the only thing of value that was the battery.
You cut out a little bit there. The only thing went?
The only thing of value that the people stole from this person's car after stealing their car was their battery.
Okay.
Oh,
so
chat's asking what the battery looks like if you can show the donut lab.
Yeah. Let me go. I mean, this one. Yeah. So I've seen the internals of one of these. So let me pull it over to this side. Pop, pop. So it looks like a little tiny solid state drive. It looks like just a little, square box. But on the inside, it kind of just looks like a whole bunch of 9-volt batteries turned up on their side with the 9-volt prongs kind of pointing inward, and they're pointing at each other. And they're just kind of attached end on end on end on end on end, but they're fused to like this motherboard looking thing. If Koenigsegg said that they have a dark matter engine, I worry.
I don't know about that. The full charge in 5 really gets me that it no longer has that 80% limit thing. And the 100,000 cycles is based off the concept of zeroing it out and taking it to 100,000 times.
Yeah, and so the fact that it gets...
How many miles does this give us the mileage?
It gives us 600 kilos to a full charge, I believe. So 600
400 kg.
I am not doing the math right now. 372 miles per charge. So yeah, maybe they did crack the nut on this. And
okay, so 300. Yeah, so 372 miles per charge, at 100,000 of those. So times 372 to round it up, 373 miles times by 100,000. Is my brain can do that math.
37,200,000. Or
before you have to replace your battery.
That's fucking wild. And
if this is legit, if this isn't lip service, if this isn't just look at us, invest in us at CES.
I mean, it's the fact of the matter that they had working test models at CES. That's the other thing, is they had it fully working at CES. You know what? Here we go. Yeah. So this is kind of how it looks, where the 9-volt batteries are on each side. So they're wanting to do smart trailers too. So 54% reduction of diesel.
I do believe the way they currently are testing them is actually for farmers by putting them on two of the wheels on a tractor or a trailer. So that they don't have to convert the whole thing. It's still using gas, but this is helping to reduce how much fuel they're using.
And Chad had asked, over high heat, tested above 80 degrees Celsius, maintaining stable operation without ignition or performance degradation. Even when heating the cell beyond 100 degrees Celsius, capacity retention remains at over 99% with no signs of ignition or degradation. I am here to support these guys, and I'm also kind of here to support Honda.
$212 in freedom units.
It's fucking
212
wild.
degrees, I mean, in freedom units.
That's fair. That's hot. That's harder than it will ever be unless you throw that shit in a fucking sauna or in a volcano, which...
Yeah, you light it on fire.
Yeah, light it on fire. I'm here for it. I'm here for the technology. There's bits and bobs about the legality of its e-ink here in the States. However, in Japan, it's going to be perfectly fine, I guess. Big shrug. But otherwise, I am here for Honda's new electric car. If the price tag also wasn't mentioned, at least on my notes, but I'll do a little bit more digging around, because if it's inexpensive and it charges as quick as they are saying it is, 4.5 hours to get you about 800 miles. That's
I mean, I drive for work,
wild.
and I don't need to like carry people and things with me. If I
Yeah.
felt more secure driving a motorcycle, which I don't because of the way people drive, that motorcycle would be perfect.
Yeah.
Per charge, I could do my entire day several times over
Yeah, you could send
because I don't use a full tank of gas.
Yeah, you could send your, just hop off of it, plug in the charger, or as mentioned before, just pop it out and pop it into an external charger. Send your fucking TikToks so that way, as soon as it's done charging, you unplug it and go to bed. There's not much fear for it. I am very curious to know.
And because it's a motorcycle, I don't have to leave it outside and hope that no one comes up and fucks with it. I can pull it into the house.
That is true. You can carry it in your back pocket. That is how big it is. The other thing I would love to see the internal machinations of the Zero Saloon car, but also suicide style doors on it. I love the fact that it has suicide style doors on it, but
Those aren't suicide style doors.
oh, it looked like it. Look, hang on, it looked like it. Hang on, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. Jarvis enhance. Yeah, hard to tell. Hard to tell because I don't know if that's a hit.
The back. If the back doesn't, do they open the back? Because
so there's no handle on these doors, by the way. So that's why I'm taking a sheer guess.
the obsession with getting rid of handles, I understand for drag purposes, but if you look at the way it's like angled with that seam towards the back fender, makes me think it can't be. That wouldn't be able to open right.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Unless it opened like.
Because that's what makes the suicide doors is the back doors opening.
I'll look more. I'll look more into it. Hopefully they do have like a full what they call exploded model where all of the hood, the doors, the trunk, everything is opened and available to look at. But as right now, I support the ideology of solid state batteries and how solid state batteries work, how quick they charge, how we are slowly even computers are starting to think about using them for militarical purposes, but hopefully we get them in the commercial purposes because at CES they work toward the commercialism of things, not just the militaristic. Ba-doop. Oh, yeah, the cute side of the robotics. A little tiny ATST was built, and it starts off on its head, and it just nicely tips over and stands up on its 2 feet. Just wanted to mention it. LimX, Limx, talks about its Tron 1 robot, showing off its agility and its capabilities. I can foresee this in the near future finally being used to fund toward the Imperial, and of course being given to either Clone Trooper or Stormtrooper. Okay, now we're getting into the very weird of CES 2026.
Security bot that just sits in place and has actually just secretly a Logitech webcam.
No.
No, Airforms. Gotcha.
Yeah, no. So, MIT has a worm-inspired soft robot, and it can crawl on the ground very slowly. But the comment section of this post is very nefarious. They say that it can, easily stash IEDs while also being very discreet about it. And I'm like, let's not think about that. However, the good sides of the posters,
contracts.
yeah, the other side of the good ones, as chat says, it looks like a leaf. That is correct. So what it can do in the smaller form that they are trying to work on, one that is relatively thinner than, I believe they said a grain of straw, and it can slowly deduce and retract. A grain of straw, I believe, is how big they're trying to get it, because what they're trying to do is help enter.
Do you mean a grain of rice?
No. What is
a grain of straw? Oh, you're thinking like, okay, I see what you're saying. Like straw, like I'm thinking straws. You're talking like straw. I've never heard someone describe straw as a grain. I get what you're saying.
Okay, a spriggin of wheat. Is that better? A spriggin.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily saying you were wrong. I'm saying my brain
Gotcha. Okay. Well, they want it to be thinner than the plant part that is holding on to the actual grain portion of it. And because they want it to enter bloodstreams. They want it to be thin enough to enter bloodstreams to help break away blood clots, begin to push toward the brain, and help push away aneurysm and or stroke capabilities. Feed medications that can help do that safely. There's a lot of things that MIT is working on right now, but of course, people got to be people and want to kind of ruin things. It is quote unquote indestructible, because the thing is just all electrical currents going through it. There is no computing on it at all. So that is another reason of going, we are now going beyond computing to have something that can be triggered and mechanized just by electrical pulses. So, a shoot of wheat. Sure. Fine. Ubadoop. For the fun side of CES, My Arcade brought out more My Arcade retro devices that have a very small set of controls for Super Street Fighter 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2, and Space Invader. I like their little tiny cabinets. I didn't think they were going to get this tiny with their cabinets, because I don't recall them being this small. I do remember them having small ones, but not this small. I like them. They are priced at $100 a piece. I have a 2.5 to 4.5, depending on which game you get. I believe it's 2.5 for the Super Street Fighter and the Sonic the Hedgehog, and the 4.5 lengthwise for the Space Invaders game. And as you know, I ain't got no problem. I would prefer to see. Hopefully, SNK does a little handshake with them, because I would like to see SNK games get a nice revival. Ba-doop. Last week we talked about the e-ink nails that were a little under £1. Well, good news, they cracked the code before CES checked out, and they sent out the finished, somewhat finished product. And
I'm waiting for the research in like 10 years where we find out e-ink is giving us like some new form.
I sincerely hope not. But
I hope not too. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But it can change over 400 colors in the app. Soon they will be able to do designs, and with their designs, they have everything kind of limited. But however, the hyper glue helps stick it to the natural fingernails as naturally as can be. And as mentioned, it was £1 before. Now it is just under 10 ounces per set of 5. So 20 ounces, a little under 20 ounces for both hands. That's not too terrible now. When you have them in the case for the first time, they are single use, so take that as you will. They last 2.5 weeks on the single charge that they already are, and the starter kit is $95, but if you want the quote-unquote pre-sale one, that if you were at CES, you can get them for $125, and it comes with 2 sets. Later to be shipped in June. That's not too terrible. Ba-doop. Now, that is all for the CES stuff. Next year, I hope they didn't do as much weird stuff this year, which I was kind of happy for. But when I was gonna pull up the weird stuff, and I hear it doesn't do more than 10 jerks a second unless you overclock it, and it. Oh, and if you do overclock it to do more than the 10 jerks a second, it voids the warranty. So take that.
These vacuums have 2 settings, low and high, and both of them will rip your dick off.
Yeah. But heading over to the San Diego side of the world, San Diego Comic-Con International has said, and I quote, will no longer allow AI art to be displayed at their event. Material created by AI, either partially or wholly, is not allowed in their art show or in Artist Alley. Yes! So, as of last year, they did use a little bit of AI art for, I believe, one of their collector pens. And they didn't know, the one running the show did not quite know that it was a little bit of AI helped art, and they received backlash for it, and they said, I want all these pins thrown out. So
I wouldn't want the pin.
yeah, so they threw out whatever was there. They said, if you want the pin, go ahead and you can have it, but be aware that this is not the official one.
Be a dumpster diver.
I believe they said that they were going to give the next year for free to those who went last year. I'm not 100% on the ups on that one, but they did receive a lot of backlash for it. And next year, or this year, gosh, they said no AI. Zero AI will be in our place at all. I'm happy for them. I'm glad for them. My Opera GX had a update a couple days ago where I can now show two two web pages at the same time and talk about them both in tandem. Both of which are the Lord of the Rings is hitting its 25th anniversary, and at AMC theaters it has a popcorn bucket that has the map of Middle Earth and 4 magnets that are very reminiscent of the individuals involved, such as the One Ring, the leaf carrier that helped out Frodo, the Eye of Sauron, and that strange water liquid that I still don't even know what it does. From the elves. Yeah, you got that on the Google?
So the leaf thing is it's a brooch. It's the elven brooch.
Yeah.
It's the water thing that I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, I remember they open it up and do like the waters of Lorien. I'm just gonna do a little bit of a sneak and do a bit of a copy paste because I'm just gonna
The Phylla of Galadriel, a crystal container holding water from her fountain, embedded with the captured light of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I was right. It was.
That's what and Samwise uses it
to save the Frodo. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I recall. But in one screen I can have this up, while in the other screen I can have the other popcorn tin bucket that is over at I still don't know where this one's at. I just found it at LOTR Universe or Lord of the Rings SU on Twitter, where they show off a pretty good looking bucket and drink combination. I actually really like that drink cup that has Bag's End on it, and the popcorn bucket has One Ring to Rule Them All on it. It's a very nice looking tin. Wish it was just a tiny bit bigger for a large popcorn, but I digress.
All in time for my Hobbit birthday.
Yeah, happy Hobbit birthday. When is it?
The 19th.
19th? Happy birthday.
Hey.
Very quickly gonna quickly sweep through these Fangamer things. They have new products available. One of which is a very good Silent Hill update. The cafe, the 5 to 2, that's on the very corner of actual Silent Hill, with a coffee mug and a coaster that matched them both. Harry's flashlight LED pen, a very small LED that you can turn on and off that works as a actual pen. And a really beautiful artwork for Silent Hill 4: The Room. Very underrated Silent Hill game, but a very magnificent looking art that is on it. You can get the Silent Hill vinyl soundtrack, the first one, available for only $39. The Silent Hill 2 soundtrack is going to be replenished, I believe, by the end of this month. So keep an eye out for that. Heading over to Deltarune, they have some pre-orders for the pixel versions of the 3 main characters, and as soon as this came out of pre-order, I immediately went, oh, this is actually kind of neat. Everyone in the comments was like, oh, is the next chapter going to come out soon? Guys, cool it. The Deltarune fans are just frothing at the mouth for any bit of information for this game. They love this game so much. But as far as the restocks and otherwise, the plushes and so on, I kind of do want the Kiss the My Ass apron. I love it to death. But if you are dying for some Deltarune content, go and support these guys. These guys pay almost out of pocket for every single product. that is on this shelf. I believe they're not making very much content or profit, and they're giving it to the ones who are making it. So it's really difficult to make a profit when you're selling full vinyl figures for $24 and only making $1 or $2 on the side. Oh, but heading over to the Capcom side of things, I just kind of want to mention the Monster Hunter Nargacuga hoodie that I really desperately would love. It looks fantastically well made, and Nargacuga is one of my favorite monsters to hunt. It has a nice embroidery on the front that is definitely reminiscent of the 4 main weapons that you can kind of chip away from it. I don't know if that's the sword and shield, but all the other ones do have that reminiscent to it. I love it. I love it to death. It looks very well taken care of as far as aesthetics, and for only under $70, that's not bad for a sweater, a hoodie of all things. And that is over at fangamer.com. Go and check them out. Ba-doop. Heading over to Mondo Squads. So there's Mondo that does a lot of the regular figures, and Mondo Squads that does limited edition figures. And the one that's on the cut right now is Beavis and Butthead, subject to only 1,250 units on Mundo.com, or Mundo... I'll have to figure that one out in a second. Pre-orders go up on Tuesday, January 20th at noon. Let me actually see if there is a price tag. Okay, $150 for this 2-pack, and it comes with a lot of features, such as a TV with the old school MTV logo, their couch to sit on, a bunch of their wonderful faces of either disgust or otherwise, and of course, Beavis comes with his classic Cornholio motif and a roll of TP for his bunghole.
Perfection.
I'm trying to say that with a straight face.
It's perfection.
It is perfection. It's a pretty good, for $150 for 2 pretty well put together resin figures, not bad. But go quick, only 1,250 units. Ba-doop. But however, something not subject to a 1,250 units, Mega Man slippers are on sale for $30 on Amazon right now. That just dropped less than a month ago. I just wanted to mention it just because I'm a huge fan of Mega Man, and Mega Man's finally going to get a game after...
I feel like this is too much slipper.
Really? Oh, I actually don't mind it goes higher.
I respect it because it looks like, the blue bomber. I can talk, I swear. But it's just, I'm like, it's just too much. Like, I feel like I wouldn't be comfortable in this. I get too hot.
Fair enough. I like shoes that already go high, and I feel like if I, like right now, I could go for these for my feetsies, but... $30, not too terrible. I could see spending that for these really nice looking ones with a climbing Bomberman shooting some of his power pellets at things. Heading over to the Godzilla.com, where they have a really good looking shop. This cardigan looks like a regular cityscape on the front, but on the back you've got Godzilla breathing down a powerful blast of a heat ray with some helicopters flying overhead. This one looks like a pretty good-looking, like, smoke motif, but on the back, it's Mothra just giving off its spores. I believe they're deadly spores now thinking about it, but I digress. No, sleeping spores. And you are correct. I'm sorry. You got, of course, just regular kaiju prints, and then for the oversized traditional shirt, sure, it's $44, but I actually really enjoy it. I wish that the spines on their back glowed in the dark, but I do enjoy the nice look of Gadzuki. Oh, hey, it's in my size. Reminiscing back on CES of last week, just for one last thing, we talked about the Lego Star Wars Smart Play Smart Brick, and how they were going to be popping out very soon, because they had said that it was going to be released later on this year. Well, now I got a date and a price tag, and they're on pre-order. For the Rebel side, where you get one Stormtrooper, I believe that is Luke with the blue lightsaber, a Leia, R2-D2, and I believe one little helper guy for $89.99, and it comes with one of these smart bricks, a charging cable, a helper station that allows you to set all this up, because It requires a little bit of programming, and it's very intuitive on how to get it to work. And it comes with 5 of these like RF readers that you kind of push around to figure things out. I saw the demo, and it seems very intuitive and very easy to learn, even for people of 6 years old. And for the Smart Play, Darth Vader's TIE Fighter and one of the Rebels that gets easily taken out, $69.99 for that one. I would lean definitely toward one of these ones, even though it only has 1 smart figure and only 1 smart tag, compared to the 2 smart figures and 5 smart tags for the other one. I don't know. I just really like the look of this one in total. Still with Lego, the AT-AT diorama set, where it has a nice little snow speeder zooming around it with the cables that try and knock it down, for $65. And I gotta say, for it being a mini model, it looks pretty good. 525 pieces for that one. And last but not least, they also announced, kind of offshootedly from CES, Pokemon is making another return. One with a full, I don't want to say full size, but a full Eevee model. One of a Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise model in a diorama of each of their elements. And a Pikachu and Pokeball with a whole bunch of 25s wrapped around it to celebrate the 25th anniversary. The Eevee goes for $60, the diorama goes for $650, and the Pikachu and Pokeball goes for $200. Out of these 3,
I'm surprised. Oh, go ahead.
Out of these 3, would you purchase any of these if you had the money, of course?
If I had the money, I'd probably go for the trio.
I also would.
I'm surprised that with as big of a deal as this collab was, and the fact that it was a thing, now they've started to release it, but they're also releasing it right around the same time that the Smart Brick is debuting. I'm surprised they didn't off to do this as a Smart Brick thing.
You are right. That is a bit of a chin scratcher, but maybe soon, because they also said that they were doing this as a test run. They were doing the Star Wars stuff as a test run, seeing how it either sold or performed, I guess.
Yeah.
So first models, then maybe a fully interactive set. They also said that they were going to go back to D&D, so go back to D&D, please. I would like to see more sets for that. But from the old times of Polly Pocket and Mighty Max comes Micromaniacs. Well, at least the idea, anyways. John Carpenter's Halloween falls into this very interesting looking what is her name? Her house.
Laurie Strode.
Laurie.
Oh. Okay, yeah, Laurie. But I think that's supposed to be Myers' house, not hers.
You're correct.
Yeah,
I just now noticed the falling apart bits. But even still,
it's falling apart. You can put the tombstone in front of it.
It looks pretty good for a Micro Machines, for a Micromaniacs new style of toy line. If I had a son or daughter, I would lean toward getting this if they were a huge horror fan. It also closes up to be the pumpkin. A bit of a harsh price tag for something with these little tiny things. So $40. Do you think $40 is worth it?
It's a little steep. I feel like they could have come down on the price a little bit. There's not much to it. People are purely going to buy this to put it on their shelf. It's not like it's an actual kid's toy like the Polly Pockets were. And those things were cheaper than this, and like they had slides and shit built in, you know what I mean?
Yeah. These aren't really meant to be played with, but it is a nice little diorama, and it has lights, so there is a little bit of extra features that are included, but I concur. Heading over to Weta Workshop over in New Zealand, I just want to briefly glance at these and say, holy crap, this is Warhammer figures at their greatest. Have a good night. Fantastic looking figures. The only downside is I don't have the wallet for it. Neve Black Talon, the God King's Assassin, for $900 is a 1/6 statue, limited edition of only 650 numbered units, but they are all handmade. They look fantastic. I could see doing a little bit of extra like neon painting up the lightning bits with like some high pearlescence underneath a black light. The gemstones themselves, I could see adding a little bit of like accents to them. But for $900, as far as what it already gives, as far as coloring or shading in general, fantastic. I'm not too big a fan of Age of Sigmar, but damn, this figure looks nice. It goes further down, and one that Quincy would at least have acknowledgement of is Titus from Space Marine, stomping down on the Tyrannid's skull. At least that looks somewhat familiar. Some skulls down at the base and all of this.
Jesus, $1,400.
I was about to mention that. $1,400. However, you can do payment plans if you happen to have your an
That's down
idea.
payment money for a shitty car.
That is true. It is sold out in the European stores, so you will need to pay a little bit more if you want to get it in Europe right now. It is subject limited to 1,300 units, but the blood on the Warhammer looks so fucking good. The detailing on the embroidery, fantastic. The writ that's on his shoulder armor just has this really good look. Sure, it doesn't have any writing on it, but it looks fucking good. If I had $1,300, I mean, it would be on the list to definitely go into a glass case to never be touched, but to be admired because it looks damn fine. However, that's not the only thing I want to talk about. I also want to talk about this Lara Croft Quest for Avalon game that got recently announced. 1/4 scale with a couple of really interesting looking shorts. This one's a little bit more pricey though, at almost $1,700. But as far as figures go, or I should say models go, this looks fucking good. I believe the weapons can also come out of her pouches. You can also take off those weapon pouches, so that way it could just be the hand torpedo gun, harpoon gun. I like the detail placed on these. I'm a little bit of a tummy hold when I hear the number of 1,700 though. But if you want to support some handmade stuff that's well put together, go and check it out. A bit of a bummer that this one I definitely would have, especially now that it's on clearance. Well, was on clearance for $450. Geralt of Rivia. This one's based off of the Cabal version, so you can definitely see there's Cabal in there. But damn, I love this fucking him stabbing one of the shriekers. I think that's what these ones are. I forget what he stabs in the forest. It's been a while since I've watched the Witcher show, but damn fine.
Watch it.
Oh, you didn't watch it? It's pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah, but now he's gone.
That's true. But he did drink one of his mini potions in order to gain that extra bit. It's a different necklace than what I like. It is off of the Netflix show, so
it's off the show.
I don't know why they had to change it for the Netflix show. They could have just kept it that jagged mess on his neck. But I digress. It looks beautiful even still for $450. I would have definitely thrown this one in. Hell, I would have had this one out and about, and I would have cleaned it every goddamn day. But the last thing I'm going to be showing for today is probably the heaviest thing, including the car, as far as scaling size. This bronze statue of Snoopy, the first beagle on the moon, for $5,000. If you love peanuts that much, when Quincy showed me the mug that he's drinking out of today, I said, I got some peanuts news.
Yeah, I'm not doing this.
If you had $5,000 just sitting about, nah, still nah.
I would be buying a fucking car. I need a car. My car is broken.
That is true. If you had 5,000,
No, like if I had stupid money, like after I do a lot of stuff for charity, maybe.
that is true. That is true. But this is very well, I guess, welded. What do they call that? Where they make those Moscow Mule mugs. It's not spot welding, but it's like that because it
Melted.
doesn't. I guess, but
I don't know.
But they do that so carefully that they make smooth edges. And Snoopy's nose has the
Just
Moscow.
like my brain.
Yeah, mine too. Especially after today's
You
cast.
agreed to that really quick.
I mean, I was gonna say me too. So I mean, what? But even still, a fine looking statuette of Snoopy standing on the moon with Woodstock looking up to him. I really like this. 5,000 is a little ouch, but if you have
It's beautiful. $5,000 is insane.
yeah, if you have 5,000 to burn, and I mean, this is a good idea if you're a Peanuts fan. But if you want, you can check out our throne that has a whole bunch of really cool stuff that could help us out for the podcast, including a new headset for Quincy or some Magic the Gathering packs for me to open.
Weird.
Thank you for the single bit, my man.
Appreciate it.
Hey, every little bit counts, man.
Get it? Bit?
That is true. We've been going for just over 2 hours. I'm hungry. I'm sitting here eating a dry ass bun. Yeah, and I would like to probably get some sleep after I'm done putting this cast up. So let's get it all squared up. Thank you guys for joining us. Remember to like and subscribe where you can. Remember to check out that throne if you happen to want to, support the channel in an adverse way that helps us build up this channel. Because as I said, Quincy can use a new headset, and that headset will definitely be very appreciated. Remember to check out Humble Bundle. Go and support some charities while also getting some good products, as well as a bunch of either comic books or video games. They right now have a good one for Humble Handhelds with one of my favorite games, Ultra Kill. Go and check out Zenny. Zenny's holding right now a Jump Start to Spring, which is 10% off of all of the sunglasses. So if you have a particular sunglasses style that you're wanting, it's 10% off. Any orders over $89 gets free standardized shipping. And that standard shipping, it's a lie. I got my stuff here in like 3 days instead of the 5 to 7 that it was promising. So take that into consideration as well while you're ordering. Hero Forge doesn't have anything new as far as deals, but they are adding a lot more features. They have now diorama sets, so in case you want to build a nice little outdoor scene with you and your characters out there, that is also available. Sure, it's a little bit pricey, but it's dang fine high quality resin, and they are already pre-painted with that resin. I have one of those pre-painted ones because someone gave me a Hero Forge gift card not too long ago, and I really like its quality, even as small as it's about a little under an inch, and I love how much quality it's got. Be sure to check out the Discord. Be sure to check out Quincy's socials over on Threads. And have you done anything on TikTok lately?
No. I mean, I'm there, but I haven't posted.
Fair enough. Go and check him out on that. He does a lot of reposting and or sending to me, and I get a kick out of everything he sends to me, especially with what he sent me very recently. AI is going to go downhill very quickly, and we're both going to just sit back, clink a couple glasses, and just watch it burn. Check out my socials over on the good old Twitter. I was going to say X, but no, it's Twitter. I said Discord, I said that, that's all good. At the end of days, at the end of weeks, at the end of months, at the end of years, please, for the love of God, love one another. It is definitely free to do. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Whew, very hot in here now. But